Today is my first day subbing in an elementary school rather than a preschool, and in preschool, you're just like teacher your first name, but in elementary school, you're like Mr. or Mrs. last name. And so I've been trying to think and like decide what my teacher name is gonna be, and I don't want to be Mrs. last name. Like, I've never wanted to be Mrs. last name. So for a while, I thought like Ms. last name would be okay, but like, I don't know, I didn't love it. And then I was like, okay, how about Ms. H? Like, Ms. H would be okay. But then last night I was thinking and I was like, Ms. H just gives like the vibes of like a woman, and that just doesn't. And so I was like, Mix H, like that just, like Mix H just sounds that just, and so now I'm having a gender crisis.
Me. Does anyone else hear anything except me? Lady, you forgot that you're supposed to teach children. You cannot treat children you teach as a source of validation for your insane self-perception. Forget the fact that you're shoving all of this onto children. You didn't even think of the children. The only thing you can think about is what pronoun or title you like best that day, as if you're picking a video game outfit. Snap out of it. Come back to reality. Stop trying so hard to be special. You are not special. Also, I don't know if you know this, but there is a difference between Miss and Mrs. Miss is typically used when addressing girls and young and or unmarried women. Mrs. on the other hand is typically used when addressing a married woman. Words mean something. You can't just go around using terms outside of what they actually mean, because if everybody did that, we wouldn't have a language. Or the other possibility is that you just don't know the difference. I mean, if you don't know the difference between Miss and Mrs., what on earth are you even doing being a teacher? I'm not a native English speaker and I know this. It's not that hard. Here's another one.
Okay, white educators, this one is for you. I mean, really, most of these are gonna be for y'all. White educators should be a safe space for Black students. Let me say that again. White educators should be a safe space for Black students. If you're wondering why you're not able to connect with those kids, it's probably because they don't feel safe around you. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. There are many white people, especially white strangers, that I have my guard up. And it's because I'm trying to protect myself from them. I don't know if this is a safe person. And it's the same with children. So if you decide to gloss over instances of racism or decide that Black Lives Matter is a political thing, you're not a safe person.
This one is interesting. Do you guys remember when a certain group of people justified their actions against Black people by claiming they, i.e. Black people, were unsafe to be around? But oh, since now it's a Black person talking about white people, it's perfectly fine. I see no issue with this. This, of course, is some of the most racist shit I've ever heard. You feel unsafe around people just because of their skin color. Please try explaining to me how that isn't racism. The very thing which you accuse everyone around you of committing. The hypocrisy is just unbelievable. Replace the word white with black and what she says will sound exactly like a KKK speech. For crying out loud, do these people not rewatch the video they record before they put it out? Or maybe they do, but that would be even worse in my opinion.
I'm in my classroom getting it ready. We are officially 1 week away from having students back in our school. I've been getting a lot of questions about how educators can create queer, safe, and inclusive classrooms for LGBTQIA+ students, so I thought I'd give you a couple of ideas. One of the most impactful things you can do, in my opinion, is show your pride. Even something as subtle as a little rainbow flag or queer resources for your students lets them know that you're a safe person for them to come to if they need. On the first day of school, or whenever you do introductions, make sure that you give students an opportunity to tell you what name they'd like to go by and what pronouns they use. Sometimes these things don't match with their official school records. Incorporate queer authors, artists, historical figures into your lessons.
Now, I had no idea whether any of my elementary school teachers were married, single, homosexual, had kids, or didn't have kids, and from what I've heard, this seems to have been a thing in the States too. Of course, in high school, you'll find out a few details about a few teachers here and there, but now there are these totally extreme cases of teachers dumping everything about their lives on their students as if it's a group therapy session. Your students are not there to validate you or your lifestyle or your personal life choices. You are there to teach them. Why should anyone care about your sexuality or your pronouns or your deluded sense of self? Posting up rainbow flags and stickers everywhere and constantly mentioning and praising sexualities and sexual deviation of certain historical figures sure is a great way to make children who don't consider themselves a part of the alphabet gang inclined to play along. Because that is what kids do. Kids soak up everything around them like sponges. It's ingrained in their psychology. But of course, these teachers already know that, otherwise they wouldn't be doing this. I would much rather have Bible study in schools, and heck, I'm not even Christian. But, of course, as with everything these days, there is a double standard here too. Imagine the outcry and the sheer panic the news media would create if instead of pride flags, the teacher put up the Bible or a huge crucifix or the Shahada flag on the wall. The activist storm that would create would be unimaginable in scope. But since it's the alphabet gang, it's no problem. Stay safe out there, and if you live in the West, be careful about who is around your kids, and peace out.